Chapter 1: Good is the Enemy of Great. The first chapter of the book lays out the overarching idea that good companies often become complacent and fail to achieve greatness. Jim Collins and his team studied several companies that made the transition from being merely good to truly great, and found that the first step was to acknowledge that good is not good enough. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Define what greatness means for your business. What are the specific metrics you want to improve? Identify areas where your business is merely good and not great. This might involve benchmarking against competitors or analyzing internal data. Foster a culture of continuous improvement within your organization. Encourage your team to constantly seek out ways to improve and create systems to reward innovative thinking and action. Chapter 2: Level 5 Leadership. In this chapter, Collins introduces the concept of Level 5 leadership, which is a rare and powerful combination of humility and fierce resolve. The Level 5 leader is able to put the needs of the organization ahead of their own ego, while also possessing an unwavering determination to see the company succeed. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Assess your own leadership style. Are you more concerned with personal success or the success of your organization? How do you handle failures or setbacks? Seek out mentors or coaches who can help you develop your leadership skills. Look for individuals who embody the characteristics of Level 5 leadership. Foster a culture of leadership development within your organization. Encourage your team members to take on leadership roles and provide them with training and support to develop their skills. Chapter 3: First Who, Then What. The third chapter of the book argues that great companies prioritize getting the right people on the bus before determining where the bus is going. Collins emphasizes that a company's success is determined not by its strategy or vision, but by the people who execute that strategy. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Identify the core values and characteristics that are most important for success within your organization. What qualities do you look for in a team member? Create a rigorous hiring process that emphasizes these values and characteristics. This might involve multiple rounds of interviews, skills assessments, and reference checks. Invest in your employees' development and growth. Provide ongoing training and support, and create opportunities for employees to take on new challenges and responsibilities. Context and examples. To illustrate the significance of these points, Collins provides several examples of companies that made the transition from good to great. For example, in Chapter 1, he discusses how Abbott Laboratories went from being a good company with a scattered product line to a great company with a clear focus on pharmaceuticals and medical devices. In Chapter 2, he profiles Darwin Smith, the Level 5 CEO who transformed Kimberly-Clark from a struggling paper company into a consumer products giant. And in Chapter 3, he examines the hiring practices of Walgreens, which prioritized finding team members who shared the company's core values of trust, integrity, and respect. Chapter 4: Confront the Brutal Facts. In Chapter 4, Collins emphasizes the importance of facing the reality of a company's situation, no matter how difficult or challenging it may be. He calls this process confronting the brutal facts and argues that it is essential for achieving greatness. However, he also stresses that leaders must maintain a belief in the ultimate success of their organization, no matter how bleak the present circumstances may seem. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Create a culture of transparency and honesty within your organization. Encourage your team members to speak openly about challenges and obstacles, and create systems to gather feedback from employees and customers. Develop a system for regularly reviewing and analyzing data related to your company's performance. This might involve conducting regular SWOT analyses or using other tools to assess strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Foster a sense of optimism and confidence within your organization, even in the face of adversity. This might involve sharing success stories or celebrating small wins along the way. Context and examples. Collins provides several examples of companies that were able to confront the brutal facts and still achieve greatness. For example, in this chapter, he profiles Admiral Jim Stockdale, a prisoner of war during the Vietnam War who survived by confronting the brutal facts of his situation while still maintaining faith in his ultimate survival. Collins also examines the turnaround of Kroger, a grocery store chain that was able to confront the brutal fact that it was not performing well, and take steps to improve its operations and customer experience. Chapter 5: The Hedgehog Concept. In Chapter 5, Collins introduces the concept of the hedgehog concept, which involves finding the intersection of three circles: what you are passionate about, what you can be the best in the world at, and what drives your economic engine. He argues that great companies are able to focus on a simple, clear, and compelling hedgehog concept, and that this focus is essential for achieving sustained success. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Take the time to reflect on what you are truly passionate about and what motivates you as an entrepreneur. This might involve journaling, meditation, or seeking feedback from trusted mentors. Conduct market research and analysis to identify areas where your business has the potential to be the best in the world. This might involve analyzing customer data, conducting surveys or focus groups, or benchmarking against competitors. Develop a deep understanding of your company's financials and identify the key drivers of your economic engine. This might involve working closely with your accountant or financial advisor to analyze cash flow, revenue streams, and other financial metrics. Context and examples. Collins provides several examples of companies that were able to develop a clear and compelling hedgehog concept. For example, in this chapter, he examines the success of Walgreens, which focused on being the best in the world at convenience retailing while also driving profitability through a unique business model. He also examines the turnaround of Circuit City, which failed to develop a clear hedgehog concept and ultimately struggled to compete in the marketplace. Chapter 6. A Culture of Discipline. In Chapter 6, Collins argues that great companies are able to maintain a culture of discipline, even in the face of success. He defines discipline as consistent action that is consistent with the hedgehog concept, and emphasizes that it requires a combination of rigor, diligence, and focus. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a set of core values and principles that guide your company's decision-making and behavior. These values should be closely aligned with your hedgehog concept and should be communicated clearly to all employees. Establish clear performance metrics and accountability systems for all team members. This might involve setting individual and team goals, conducting regular performance reviews, and providing ongoing feedback and coaching. Foster a culture of continuous improvement and learning. Encourage your team members to seek out new ideas and best practices, and create opportunities for professional development and growth. Context and examples. Collins provides several examples of companies that were able to maintain a culture of discipline over the long term. For example, in this chapter, he examines the success of Wells Fargo, which maintained a disciplined focus on cross-selling financial products and services to existing customers, even in the face of economic downturns and industry disruption. He also examines the turnaround of Nucor, a steel manufacturer that implemented a culture of discipline around safety, productivity, and efficiency. Chapter 7. Technology Accelerators. In Chapter 7, Collins argues that great companies are able to harness technology to accelerate their progress toward greatness. However, he also emphasizes that technology alone is not enough, and that it must be combined with a clear and compelling hedgehog concept. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Stay informed about emerging technologies and their potential applications to your business. This might involve attending conferences, reading industry publications, or networking with other entrepreneurs. Develop a clear understanding of how technology can support your hedgehog concept. This might involve conducting a technology audit to assess your current capabilities and identify areas for improvement. Foster a culture of innovation and experimentation within your organization. Encourage your team members to try out new technologies and ideas, and create systems for testing and evaluating their effectiveness. Context and examples. Collins provides several examples of companies that were able to use technology to accelerate their progress toward greatness. For example, in this chapter, he examines the success of Fannie Mae, which used technology to transform the mortgage industry and become a leader in its field. He also examines the turnaround of Pitney Bowes, a company that was able to use technology to streamline its operations and become more efficient. Chapter 8. The Flywheel and the Doom Loop. In Chapter 8, Collins introduces the concept of the flywheel and the doom loop. The flywheel represents the idea that sustained success is the result of a series of small, incremental improvements that build momentum over time. The doom loop, on the other hand, represents the idea that companies can fall into a cycle of decline, characterized by a lack of momentum and a failure to make the necessary changes to reverse course. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Identify the key drivers of your company's success and create a plan to continuously improve them. This might involve setting clear performance metrics, tracking progress over time, and making small, incremental changes to improve results. Stay attuned to changes in the market and be willing to pivot your strategy as needed. This might involve conducting regular market research and analysis, keeping a close eye on emerging trends, and being willing to take calculated risks. Foster a culture of continuous improvement and experimentation within your organization. Encourage your team members to be creative and innovative, and create systems for testing and evaluating new ideas. Context and examples. Collins provides several examples of companies that were able to build momentum over time by focusing on the flywheel. For example, in this chapter, he examines the success of Walgreens, which was able to continuously improve its business model and build momentum through a series of small, incremental changes. He also examines the decline of Circuit City, which fell into the doom loop by failing to adapt to changes in the market and making a series of strategic missteps. Chapter 9, From Good to Great to Built to Last. In the final chapter of the book, Collins emphasizes that the key to sustained success is to build a company that is not just great, but also built to last. He argues that this requires a combination of strong leadership, a clear and compelling purpose, and a culture of innovation and adaptation. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a clear and compelling purpose for your company that goes beyond just making a profit. This might involve identifying a social or environmental cause that aligns with your values and vision. Build a leadership team that is committed to the long-term success of your company. This might involve identifying and developing internal talent, or recruiting external leaders who share your values and vision. Foster a culture of innovation and adaptation within your organization. Encourage your team members to be creative and open-minded, and create systems for testing and evaluating new ideas. Continuously monitor your company's performance and adapt your strategy as needed. This might involve conducting regular SWOT analyses, monitoring key performance indicators, and staying attuned to changes in the market and industry trends. Context and examples. Collins provides several examples of companies that were able to build lasting success by staying true to their core purpose and values. For example, in this chapter, he examines the success of Johnson & Johnson, a company that has remained committed to its core values of quality and customer service for over a century. He also examines the success of Nordstrom, a retailer that has built a culture of customer service and innovation that has allowed it to adapt and thrive in a rapidly changing retail landscape. Overall, the key takeaway from these chapters is that achieving sustained success requires a combination of strategic thinking, disciplined execution, and a commitment to long-term goals. By harnessing technology, building momentum through a flywheel approach, and creating a company that is built to last, entrepreneurs can set their companies on a path to greatness that endures over time.